You caught me contemplating, looking at something, studying something. How are you doing, Tracy?
I'm here. I'm magically appeared. Just when
November.
you think I'm not there, there I am.
Oh no, no. Trust and believe. I know you'll be here.
That's
I know
right.
you'll be here. I
That's
trust
right.
that.
Well, what's that?
Ooh, no, I trust you will be here.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're in holiday season, right?
Uh-huh.
And a happy Thanksgiving Eve to everybody
And
who's listening today and here with
there
us.
you go.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot goes on during this time of year. So, but what I'm curious, like where you are, what are
Uh-huh.
the like? I mean, it's a different time of year too.
Correct.
Um, what like what is there anything in this season for
We
you all there?
we had Thanksgiving the first Thursday of November.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, so schools were out. No turkey. Just eating the indigenous foods. Some going to church, but it's laid back. I just
Mhm.
heard from Verlin and the kids. They're in Maryland. They drove last night to
Oh.
catch up with family. So I know they will be spreading out. What are your plans?
Yeah, so then Verlin got to spend that Thanksgiving there, and then oh,
Yes.
that's great for her.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
neat.
Yes. Yes. What's planned in the Phillips home?
In the Phillips family. So our tradition since COVID, everything's shit. Like, everything's, how they have, AD and BC. We have like we have BC and AC,
AC.
and we're not in the
Oh,
AC period yet. We're still like we're the DC during
that's
COVID.
a good that's a good one.
But so we used to go up, twice a year so my husband's family is in Maryland, actually
Okay.
in Annapolis. And so we would go up for Thanksgiving, then we'd go up for Christmas. And then,
Uh-huh.
with COVID, nobody was going anywhere. And but our neighbors, who's, really my best friend, we saw each other through the entire COVID experience. And so we would
Gotcha.
take our long walks and, get, kind of work through things that way. But we had Thanksgiving with them that first year. And
Okay.
it was just the two couples. And then it's since expanded. So there'll be about 15 or 16 of us this year.
Excellent.
2 miles up the
Excellent.
road, we're doing the turkey and the mashed potatoes and the sweet potatoes and, a few things.
Okay.
And then everybody brings, so it's the real kind of,
Gotcha.
people bringing from different, not one person having to, do all the
Good.
game.
Good.
Um,
Wow.
so yeah, we cook the turkey here and then we take it 2 miles up the road. But yeah, so I love it. This is my favorite holiday.
Really?
It is because it's just laid back. It's just about time and gratitude, time with people you love, gratitude for what you have, gratitude for life itself. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a big commercial holiday person.
Mm.
I really never have been. I like getting gifts for people when I think of them. So I would always do. People are like, how do you always find the best gifts for the holidays and birthdays? I said it's because I buy them as I see them throughout the year, and then I put them away until birthday
Yes.
or Christmas
Yes.
comes around,
Yeah.
whichever comes first.
Yeah.
But I've never been the big like, let's go and do that. That annoys
Good
me.
job.
It annoys
Gotcha.
me.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think it's great for the people who love it, but for me, it's not a fit. So this is
Yeah.
perfect. It's my speed.
I hear you. I hear you. Hey, those of you who eavesdrops land. Today's the 22nd November 2023. EP 17. We're pushing on EPs here.
You're
I think
pushing out the
we average 20 EPs. We should be averaging 20 to 26 EPs, depending on our time and availability. We told ourselves we wouldn't be tied down to this. We will live our lives, but
just
we
like
will be
just like
responsible to come.
y'all.
Say that
Yeah.
again.
Just like all y'all, all y'all
I
out there
know.
living your lives, and sometimes you're
Yeah,
with us, sometimes you watch and replay, and
there
you
you
know,
go. And
yeah.
please don't be silent today. Please don't. What are you thankful for? What are you
Mhm.
thankful this day? Don't just eavesdrop. We want to eavesdrop on you. So feel
Mhm.
free, let us know, comment as we continue into this pre-Thanksgiving one.
Yeah. So
So,
what are you
Tracy,
grateful for?
what am I great? Gosh, you took so you're sneaking up on me and pushing it on me, huh?
Yep, I am.
what
I'm
am,
pushy.
what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for hmm, transitions.
Mhm.
Uh transitions that spiritual transitions, physical transitions, and being comfortable with them, right? Moving to Liberia has been somewhat different. Always been with the family, uh, but now the kids are in college. Verlin can come and go, so it's just different. Not being at Thanksgiving, but I'm thankful that WhatsApp is here and Zoom and all the different gadgets and technology that we can utilize. I'm grateful for spiritual maturity because I will never be spiritually mature, and increase in my maturity, and not being uh, cocky to say I've arrived, but knowing that any second I could drop, and I know God is faithful to pick me back up and accept me for who I am. I'm thankful and grateful for family. Right, I just saw a friend of ours who was in maybe 2 or 3 classes ahead of me, passed away yesterday, a day before yesterday, from a heart attack. There's another friend who's 1 class ahead who had a heart attack, uh, and this one is he's still alive, and praying that he comes through. So just grateful for health, um, and as much as we can run and jump and exercise, your expiration date is your expiration date, right? But I'm just grateful.
Mhm.
Back to you. What are you grateful for and thankful for?
Well, I think that's all really beautiful, and that this is one of the reasons I like this time of the year is because I think you and I talk about gratitude a lot. It's not just one day
Mhm.
out of the year, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
something that I think that's something that infuses us, and they've now done plenty of studies, on gratitude and what it does for health and well-being and
Mm,
mental attitude, and mental health has been such a huge topic of late, and I think that's one of the things that they've found, really helps inspire positive mental health is practicing gratitude. So for
mm.
me, one of the things, I'm going to move my camera. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to move my camera because I want to show everybody. One of the things I'm grateful for That little
Ah,
girl right there, who's been with us for 11 years, she just sleeps all the time now. That's Luna. Luna is our eldest dog.
okay.
And she has now become one of my little companions in my office because she likes to have time away from the puppy. So I'm grateful for her because she keeps me getting up. Well, the puppy does too, but you know, she'll go to the door when
Hmm.
she needs to go out, and it forces me to take a moment. And, so I'm grateful for the things I get to care for,
Mm,
including myself first and foremost. You know, my own
yeah,
health and well-being. I think at the top of my list is family. So some of you know that I've been through a couple months. I've had some things going on, and that continues. My mom's in the hospital now, and we're not sure
uh,
what's going on with her. Um,
oh,
you know,
mm,
and so there's that uncertainty and it being, I mean, it doesn't even matter. People are like, oh, and it's the holidays on top of it. It's like, it doesn't even matter that it's the holidays. It's not easy at any time of the year.
thank you.
And yeah, so we're, you know, praying that she's, you know, gonna find her way to a
Mm,
better, you know, health and, you know, get
hmm.
through all this.
Mm,
But you know, she's in Tucson. So
okay,
it's a distance, so we're kind of just not sure. We're having to keep our own schedules very fluid and in case we
correct.
go and all that. So you know, that I'm really grateful for family. I mean, I was able to talk to her the other day and it really brought tears to my eyes because, you know, the last thing she just sounds so weak.
Mm,
But she
mm,
said, the last thing she said to me before she hung up is, sweet girl, you're very loved. Just remember that. So, you know, it's those things I'm really grateful for. I'm grateful for, I want to do a shout out to my friend Heather O'Donnell. Heather has been a client, a dear friend, and I'm so proud of her.
oh,
She actually has launched two businesses. One she kind of had going, but it's now officially really fully launched, Watercolor Kitchen. So you guys all have to check that out on all the social channels.
yeah,
But Watercolor Kitchen is her inspired. She is just a brilliant, brilliant baker. And she's
okay.
coupling that with a new consultancy. So she left corporate recently and started her own organizational consultancy. So she does all that wonderful organizational stuff in your business. But you know, her brilliance, I believe, is people. She really
Mm,
understands, you know, where, you know, process, people, and profit all meet, and
mm,
how to do that with grace, with humor.
yeah,
She's an absolute amazing human being and really incredible professional. So check her out. Heather O'Donnell LLC is her other company. But I get a knock on the door 10 minutes before I had to jump on here, and it's a woman
uh-huh,
delivering some of Heather's baked goods for the
okay.
holidays. She surprised me. I mentioned something about peach pie. So she sent me all these little mini pies, some of them peach, as well
Ooh,
as some other wonderful treats that I will be sharing tomorrow with people. But I just really, you know, and that was
mm,
just because she loves me and just because she wanted to surprise me and,
nice,
you know, share her
nice.
treats. So I'm really grateful for people like that in my life,
Yeah,
who come in at the right time. You know, there's just, I could go on and on, but I think, you know, the thing
please.
that I really appreciate, and you said it too, is humility. I've had
Mm,
a lot of opportunities over the last 3 months to step into humility
mm,
and to develop a balance between humility and certainty. And what I mean by that is not certainty in what's happening in the world outside of me, but certainty in myself.
mm,
Right? Some people could call it confidence, but I think it's beyond that. You know, it's a certainty that we'll get through somehow. It's a certainty
yeah,
that the next day will come, you know, come what may. It's certainty
mm,
that I have what it takes, even if I don't know if I have it.
mm,
It's a certainty that all of this is for a reason, even if I don't
mm,
understand in the moment. You know, I've really been tested, you know, to be humble and surrender to this, you know, feeling like I ever have to do anything at any one moment. And instead leaning into who I am as a human being and who I want to be as a human being and how I want to show up as that human being in the moment. And that's what I need to do. Not, you know, with this head on, like, how do I fix it? How do I, you know, so I really, I with this thing with my mom, I'm finding myself, and maybe it's just because I'm doggone tired. I have no bandwidth. But I also find that instead of having no bandwidth and being on edge and edgy and mean and ornery, and I have no bandwidth, and I feel sweet and peaceful and loving and kinder. And I feel like that's surrender. That's surrender. Because where we get mean and ornery and pushback, like, it's because we're actually resisting. That's not surrender. That's I'm resisting this uncomfortable thing that's happening to me in my life, and I don't know what to do about it, and I don't like that, and it's my ego, and you know, so I'm grateful for all of it. Yeah.
Wow. So Nathan puts in here, great discussion and the reminder of the importance of gratitude. I'm thankful today for the experiences of life that bring enlightenment and change, and for good friends like Traci and Heather.
Yeah, Nathan. Right on, Nate. Yeah, Nate knows Heather very well, and she's a talent, gift. And thank you, Nate, for being here. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, man. Even though I don't know you, but hey, thanks.
I appreciate you.
But no, to all others who are on, let us know what you're grateful for, what your gratitude is. You know, Traci, as you were talking, as you were speaking in terms of, you know, no bandwidth, and you've been calm and in a restful state. I think, you know, when you talk about surrender, it's exactly what surrender does. It doesn't give up. It says, come what may, I'm going to get through. 1, 2, it's, oh my goodness. Oh, I gotta stop. Somebody's on here. And oh my goodness. Sara Madras.
Oh my gosh, Sara. Hey. Nate and Sara. My gosh. I love the holidays.
Oh my goodness. Sara, I wish I could see you. I wish I could add you onto this. You know, that would be a nice thing to do. Add her, invite her on here. But hey,
that would be fun.
Sara,
you gotta figure out a way to pull people in.
I mean, I could do it.
Sara, you ready? Take the curls out of your hair, girl.
Sara,
come on, let's go.
Sara, are you ready to get on? I mean, she just blessed my heart just now.
She's like, in my robe.
Oh my goodness. And then, okay, so Sara goes, I'm grateful for friendship connection with you. She says, seriously? Yes, seriously. This is impromptu. This is our play, our sandbox, and we do what we want to do here. So once you tell me yes, you're coming on. So Heather goes, I'm grateful for having people. You know what? I think I'm going to cry during this show. Because it's just that season, right?
I'm grateful for having people in my life that have taught me it's okay to be me without being perfect, just perfectly human. I love that. That's beautiful. That's my new bumper sticker, girl.
Yeah,
perfectly human. I've been being very human lately, let me tell you.
So Sara goes, she's in a Winnie the Pooh sweatshirt.
Nice.
I mean, we okay with that, right?
Oh, are you kidding?
Okay, so Sara, I'm about to shoot you something.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
So great. This is the first time ever, folks.
It is, and it's because, you know, we are oh my goodness. We're feeling gracious today.
No, we're just feeling grateful. I can't be all. Yes, we do want you all on here.
I know. So Sara, I'm going to shoot you to your WhatsApp, if that's okay. So I'm shooting it to you, and then you just come on here when you're ready. But let's just continue. When she comes in studio, I'll bring her in. But no, as you were saying this, uh, all I when you surrender, it's you're saying yes, you're able, but you're saying there's someone who can do it better. And if we start to do moving parts, it's a rabbit hole of going down and tweaking things. So I'll say this: my dad's passing away, um, and there's an option to put him in the car and to drive him to the hospital. But I know, do I want his last moments to be in a bouncing car, bum, 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 or do I want him in his bed? And I looked at him, and he's I know he's slipping away. And I look at him, I go, nah, I'm surrendering this, God. If this is how you want him to go, he's going to go. If he stays, wow, you're good. But you're good either way. And surrender, when it happened, I just looked and said, wow, I did not, my angst to drive and go and do something about it, I surrendered it. And I think that's where most of us have to be in our growth, in our spiritual maturity, in whatever maturity we find ourselves, is that the business for people, the business, the family, the friends, you don't have to manufacture. You can prepare. You can prepare. So you've prepared. I prepared. I'm hanging out with him. You prepared with your mom. Look what you said. You were like, you said something, but you stopped and then you changed it. You said, I'm okay with her. And then you said, getting back to, because you know your words are powerful. So you switch your words for what you're wishing for. And that's excellent. But when you surrender, Tracy, I tell you, it's such a headache. It's you're free.
Mhm. It is, you're free. Well, because we're
You're
free
free.
anyway. I think the thing is we're always free. Like I like to remind myself of that most importantly, is that this
Mhm.
concept of I'm free when I do this and I'm not free when I do it. We're free all the time. And we, by allowing ourselves to surrender, we recognize our freedom. We
Mhm.
recognize the freedom we've always had, because the freedom we have is to be. A freedom is
Yeah.
not always to do. We don't always have the freedom
Mm.
to do as we please or do what we want to do or have things work out the way we want them to. We don't have that,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
But we do have the
Correct.
freedom to be, right? And that's the reminder. The surrender is more of a focus on the being and less on the doing. So oh my God.
Hey, my unicorn.
I could not be happier right now. I mean, I could
Oh
probably
my goodness.
Right here.
Oh my goodness. Oh. You know what?
Here.
Today's gonna kind of your audio is peaking, is going in and out.
Oh.
or she
Okay,
could
let's
just
see.
sit there. She could just sit there and be the bright light that she is, and she doesn't have to say anything.
What's going
I'm
on,
like,
Sarah?
I don't know.
Oh,
You know, Wulwyn, you know I don't know how to fix that stuff. I'm like, I hit
no,
the
you're
leave
good.
button. I
You're
showed
good
up.
now. You're good.
Oh,
We can hear
you're
you just
good
great.
now. You're good. You're good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're well. We're well. We're really well. Well, so this kind of takes me back to when I was on your podcast, where it's just like there is
Mm,
when people get together kind of with the intentionality, not that we intended to have you on because we didn't know you'd be here, but this intentionality concept of, you want to bring good stuff to the table and then good things show up
mm.
and then you bring those good things on and there's even more value in it.
Mhm.
That's
Wow.
it's what I am reminded of.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because you were asking, what are you grateful for? And usually I'm working on Wednesdays and have clients, so I can never pop on when you guys are on because that's my client days. And with the holiday being tomorrow, I didn't schedule any clients today. And so I was like, oh, I get to catch on. Like, I get to see them. I get to pop in and see their faces. And there is such power to seeing someone's face because we chat and we message each other. And so it's not that we aren't in contact, but there is such power in the connection of being to look at somebody's face and look them in the eye. And so I'm so grateful to not be working today so I could pop in with you guys.
Yes,
Oh my
yes,
goodness.
with your Winnie the Pooh sweater and all, you know.
I-
I was like, y'all, this is my house sweater. This is my house sweater. It does not get
Hey.
worn outside.
hey,
It's like,
hey.
oh no, let's go to Disney.
You're hey, I tell you. I
But
tell
you
you
know,
how.
you're right. You're right about the face piece. You
Mhm.
absolutely are.
Yes.
It's
Wow.
yeah.
So we're just in here, I think, and Traci, if there's anybody who would come on that you would want to get on here, let us know what they're grateful. I think there's I'm high right now. I just gotta tell you this. I'm high. I'm high with gratitude. I'm high that we, in our sandbox where we haven't done this before, we're able to do it and whom we're doing it with, right? I'm just gonna be a fly on the wall here for a while.
You go be high in the corner. Now, I've got a question for you, Sarah. I mean, you've been through a year too.
Mhm.
You've had a year. I mean, like when you're listening to what I was saying about kind of the last 3 months for me, what's been your takeaway? Because I know that there's like we've been shaped,
Mhm.
and you've been through your own. So I would love to hear kind of what have the gifts been?
Oh, so many gifts, so many gifts. And I love what you said about the surrender because I think that's been the biggest lesson and I just had this conversation this morning with somebody else via text. We are conditioned to suck it up, like to push through, to pull up your boots, suck it up, push through, keep going, be strong, right? And it's interesting because I learned this from one of the students in one of my cohorts is he was like, it's not about sucking it up. He said, there's a difference between putting your head down, sucking it up, continuing to push through. He goes, it's embracing the suck. And so
Mm.
different. When you embrace the suck, you surrender and you're like, man, this situation sucks. And I don't have to suck it up and plow through and, push things down and continue to just keep moving forward and be strong. I can embrace the suck and acknowledge and surrender to, damn, this is hard. And there's going to be gifts in it, and I can embrace that suck in order to find the gifts. And to me, when he said that, I was like, oh boy, you just did a game changer right there.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Wow.
That's a powerful language reframe. I mean, so I was talking to my dad last night because, my brother and I are dealing with this thing with my mom very differently. And we're different people. Like my brother and I couldn't be more polar opposite. The thing that brings us together is love. Anything else, we don't. The only thing other than that is we had the same family. Couldn't be more different. And it's been a beautiful thing over the years because by having a single sibling who's so different from me and who I love so much, it's inspired me to be, to work through those differences, right? To honor, the value of his different perspectives. And what I was saying to my dad is that, exactly what you said, Sarah. I've gotten to a point in my life where, I used to be the one to suck it up. In fact, it's like I made it look so easy. I could make the most shitty situation, excuse my language, sorry. I could make the worst situation look like no problem. And I look back, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't, and I know that I wasn't showing my full self. And so I said to my dad, I said, it is not even an option at this point in my life for me to not have my emotions integrated with what I'm doing to move forward. So in other words, I will be sitting there and I will be showing the tears and I will be moving forward. I will be, you know, it's about feeling and the rest of the stuff. Because otherwise we pin it down, you know, and I said to him, I said, yeah, like growing up, I was always, this is what got me in trouble. I was always the one who was like, we got to bring it out and look at it. We got to work through it. And everybody else is like, stick it under the rug, stick it under the rug.
Yeah.
No, but we
Wow.
got, you know, and I actually am finally embracing that. But I realize also too, as I'm dealing with different individuals in this case, this scenario, who don't necessarily do it that way.
Yeah.
That when I feel so like I can't reach them, I can't, like, where's the heart? Like I can't get around the wall that's gone up to protect their heart. That I get to let that go too, because and I said to him, I said, I feel hurt. I feel walled out, and I feel it. I'm not saying that person is hurting me. I'm not saying it's their fault. I am saying explicitly, I'm hurting. I'm dealing with that hurt. I'm being vulnerable with that hurt and honoring it. And I'm also finding a way to surrender to that reality, right?
Wow.
That reality that's how they're dealing with it. And that, you know, so holding space for both of those things has been a really fabulous transition, I think, for me.
Because you're honoring your process and honoring their process.
Yeah.
You know, when I hear you say that, it's you're operating in grace, right? And operating in grace is such a it's hard to do, because your natural tendency is to be selfish. Your natural tendency is to, I need to take care of myself. I need to do me. But when you said it, your maturity allows you to understand that you understand what they're going through, how they're processing, but you're still saying to yourself, gosh, but it's hurting me now. I can't process the way I can. But I want to believe you still can process the way you can without others, right? You can go and process by yourself in a way, right, to engage. But Sara, today is Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for?
So much. I'm thankful for connection, for healthy, loving, kind relationships with people who, because like Traci said, most people are not taught that being vulnerable and being aware of your emotions and expressing and connecting to your emotions and then verbalizing your emotions is a good thing. Like, we're taught as a society to just do instead of feel, or instead of be. And so what I'm learning, the gifts in this year and this journey, is that the power of healthy relationships, and that the power of finding those people and being around those people and like learning from, experiencing with those people is so healing within itself. And I'm grateful for healing relationships, healing environment, healing interactions.
Wow.
You know, that reminds me of a lot of the research on belonging, you know, this idea of like, because that's a topic I've been talking about a lot too. It's like, I finally, after feeling so like I never knew where I belonged, you know, like, it reminds me of that one book, Are You My Mother? the dog, like, are you my mother? Or no, or was it a bird that was looking at all? I don't remember, but it's like, I think the baby bird that like is looking for its mother because it got lost. But it is like, are you my people? Is this where I belong? You know? And it is healing just when you find, like, you're like, I do feel like I have a place where not only I feel like I fit, I'm being given a place to fit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Room is
Mm.
being made for me. Even
Uh,
in environments where the people who are making room may be like, I am different from you. And I think about that in this collaborative group that we've cultivated. I mean, some of the people, like one in particular, he's so different from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I find myself gravitating to him more and more because he makes room, like even when he sees things completely opposite, like he's looking at me questionably, like I have no, like you're from outer space, but he makes room for me to explain myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That cognitive dissonance is not something that creates a block. It actually creates curiosity. And when you're with people who can be so different from you and they make room through their curiosity for you to belong.
So
I know, I'm like, Traci, you just gave me chills everywhere. Stop it.
so quick question to both of you. I'm hearing these and I'm getting it. And I've experienced, I mean, there's somebody right here, Sara and I don't know how we met, because that's how when you meet somebody and when you build a relationship with the person and you don't know how you met, that's a relationship that was made prior to you guys meeting, because it's not about what we do when we meet. It's just our spirits, the way we operate, the way we engage. So how would you advise? I'm already seeing the answer, and the answer is, the question isn't even necessary, but I will still ask it. How would you advise people to engage or to find their healing friends? Healing environments.
Well, and here's how it comes to my brain.
Uh-huh.
You don't want yes people. Like, it's not like we want to look for yes people. And it's what Traci just said, as far as where they make room for you and through curiosity, because I want people to challenge my thinking and make that space of like, I want to understand you. I want to be understood. And that mutual curiosity of, we don't have to agree on anything. In fact, it's probably more fun if we don't agree on everything all the time. I want to understand more. I want to be challenged more. I want to learn more, grow more. And so I think it's finding the people in the environments where they're willing to challenge in such a loving way, from curiosity, not from judgment, not from agreement of, well, I'm trying to get you to agree with me, not from conversion, right? But from curiosity and understanding. And so I think people get that confused, of where they're like, well, I only want to hang out with people like me that will agree with me, that only believe all the same things I believe, or I want people to believe all kinds of things. What I want us to have in common for connection is the ability to bring things to each other in a safe way and discuss it and dig through it and have a greater understanding and be curious about things together.
You got the hot seat, Traci.
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, I love that so much. And it makes me think of, where I struggled so much. I always had to work so hard to belong. And I find that the places I am now, I'm legitimately wanted. And like Sara said, not because I always just fit in. Actually, a lot of times, especially not just especially, but I see this a lot in my professional life. I'm being introduced, into circles because I'm the one that brings something that isn't there. Right? I'm wanted because I'm different. I am wanted because I bring a perspective, an expertise, skill set, whatever, that is not present. And, I think, my answer to that question, which I think is a really good one, I think it does need to be asked. That's a great question. I hope everybody's thinking about this in their own minds, is how do you find these groups? I think it's cultivating, first and foremost, that curiosity within, right? It's that inner gadgetry that we have, our head, heart, and gut, that leads us and cues us up with certain data points that we can follow, like breadcrumbs, and to start to understand what that means. I mean, it's interesting because now looking back, hindsight is 20/20, but why is that? it's because there's usually a point, like if we ended up in a circle of people that didn't work out, like there was a point when we were first entering that circle, we had some instinct that this wasn't going to work out. Or I would be treated. I mean, I could tell you a million stories about people who, when I first met them, I'm like, oh no. And then I overrode it. And then in the end, it was, oh no. You know what I mean? Like, I could have saved a lot of people a lot of time and heartache if I had just like listened to my instinct. So I mean, it's not to say that we just jump to those conclusions, because the other thing that I'm finding too, like I did a business constellation with my group recently, and I'm in human design a person who is sacral authority, which means I can make my decisions like this. I don't have to filter through the data points of my emotions to make a instinctive decision. Whereas if you're emotional authority, you do. So it could take you 24 to 72 hours to filter through all the information to make the right decision. But the problem with that is oftentimes I can make the decision that's aligned, but I not only miss all the emotional points, I don't work through my emotions. So then they build up. So all of that emotional data that I'm not processing and digesting is building up in my system. So I need to go back and do that consciously. But side note on that is I've started to, even though I may know what my answer is, sitting back and observing what I go last, right? I'm designed to go first, but I've been forcing myself to go last. And what's been beautiful about that is it allows me to refine my decision. So it's like I have a decision, but now by listening and observing, I have all these data points from like 360 degrees around my decision that helps me see it more clearly or a little bit more, in depth. And that has been hugely valuable. So it doesn't necessarily change it. It just augments it, and it almost drives it home more. I almost have a deeper certainty because I'm listening to other people's, even if their decisions are different, by them vocalizing or sharing or working through out loud their process, it allows me to understand more about my own and my own decision. And so, even though we have that is still that inner gadgetry that we're working on refining, right? It's like, where can I be better? Where can I, even if I'm designed to be this way, is there anything I could still be doing, to improve that process with others? Because I think that, yes, at the end of the day, we need to process our own emotions and process our own thoughts. And, we can't expect other people to do that for us. And we certainly shouldn't be projecting our feelings or choices or actions on other people. But I also believe that there's this value point to being together, especially when we're in diversity, that allows for a refinement of our own inner processes. And I would say that's something that I really value, when coming together. And I'll know if I'm in at this point, I just know when I'm in one of those environments. One, because there's usually places where I'm constantly being told that I belong, and two, where I'm constantly being challenged. So like both are present.
So as you guys, both of you were speaking about healing environments, my answer was engaging with no strings attached, right? It's coming to the table without a preconceived notion, an idea that Sara Madras is going to give me business, or Traci is known to do the 3 hearts, head, gut, brain rather, and all these different things. I'm going to go there and get something from her, rather than let me find out who these people are. Let me just explore. The second you were speaking earlier, Traci, you were talking about waiting last, and tell them hi for me. Sara, that's our regular Thursday cleaning crew. So another thing was everything gives information. Everything speaks. And what I'm finding is as I engage with people, or just engaging and observing, you can get so much information if you pause and pay attention rather than I want to be heard. I want to be heard. I want to be heard. I think I have the answer. I think I have the answer. Because when four of us are in there and I can look and observe, see this person that, the way they speak, they're, bobbing their eyes and looking left side, right side, seeing how they fidget and look to the next person and get the different information that's given. It's power to me that I can influence in that environment because I see how people react to words. I see how people react to nonverbals. And I'm not trying to manipulate them. I'm trying to influence them. And I pray that my influencing, if it's the right, be woman or man enough to say, no, that's not what we're saying here. Don't just agree with me because I'm influencing you. Right.
Mhm.
So no strings attached. And I think the two of you are great examples of how relationships started, that it wasn't, I want to find out who Wulwyn is or who Traci or who Sara is. You just got introduced and like, hey, what's up?
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, there's power in reciprocity. That's one of the things that I'm finding too, that I'm even asking for is it's like, I can meet you halfway, but I'm also asking you to meet me halfway, and whatever halfway, what do they say about marriages? It's not always 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's 30-70. I mean, we show up as we are and we fill in the gaps, but the reciprocity has been big. Like my dad said to me last night something, and you get to show up and do X, Y, and Z. And I said, I've spent my life doing X, Y, and Z, right? Giving that extra piece. I'm going to ask that person, it's okay. The door's wide open, but I'm not going to leave. Like that's a boundary for me, right? I shouldn't have to always go into that person's lane and pull them back so that they can have this relationship with me. They're either going to show that they want it by taking those steps forward, or they're not, which is fine. I can love them unconditionally from my space right here, but I shouldn't have to do that work for them, right? To get them into this relationship and to have them engaging. And that's become something that is absolutely a non-negotiable for me, is that you either want to, and again, no shame, no blame either way. Like I can still love you from over here. And I will always have an unconditional heart. I'll promise, I'll always work to have an unconditioned, open heart. But I am also not going to feel, because I'm the older one, that I always have to, you have to be the bigger person, or you have to, I don't have to do anything, right? I get to do my part and up to that boundary. And then if not, then okay. Like, where to meet me when you're ready. If you're ready, if you're not, that's fine too. Meet you in the next lifetime.
So, Sara, hold one second. To those of you who are eavesdropping, please drop us something. Driving, who knows? Just might get on.
Literally.
Go ahead, Sara.
Well, and I love what you said, Traci, because that my 2022 word of the year was receive, because the bottom fell out. I was depleted. I had nothing left. Like literally it felt like the last guitar string snapped in January of 2022. And I was like, the well is dry and I got nothing left. And so I literally at the freaking vision board party, I was like, my word of the year is receive. And I'm cutting out the freaking pictures for my vision board. And I'm realizing I'm still cutting out pictures that are indicating I'm the one who's planning of like, here's this party, here's this girls event here. And I was like, no, stop it, Sara. Cause it just comes naturally. The giving and the pouring into is easy and naturally. It's actually harder for me to pull it back and hold it. That requires so much energy. And so I was like, I'm going to practice receiving and that reciprocity, right? And so it took focus and concentration for 2022 of I'm going to, instead of, like you said, Traci, pulling that person over here and being like, let's do this, or, hey, let's eat. And I was like, in whatever relationships are there, will be there, which the ones that are not, I'm okay with that. Like you said, I will if you want to initiate and invite me or do it, like, then yes, I'm an open heart. But it was so fascinating to watch the relationships that rose and the relationships that are fading or did fade or ended. And
Wow.
that then in 2023, it's still something I'm working on. Receiving is very hard for me. So, but it's still something to work on. But I say to myself, thank you, I receive with gratitude. Of even things like receiving help from a friend to put lights up in the bathroom or to fix something, like silly things. And so that reciprocity, that has been a huge shift of no more can I allow, because that was a me thing. I allowed myself to pour without reciprocity and allowed myself to be depleted. And I was like, I won't do that again. And that was the biggest lesson from 2022, because my word was received for the year. And so now reciprocity in any relationship, business, friendship, interpersonal relationship, any relationship, if there's not the reciprocity, then now I'm going, whoa, let me sit back and look at this and allow it to naturally evolve however that's supposed to be. And if it's naturally supposed to fade, then I'm going to allow that to happen.
Wow.
I love that. Like what you just said about let me step back. Like I'm not going to just cancel it, right? Because I'm not feeling the reciprocity. Let me step back and let it take its due course. And because I've put out there intentionally that I'm looking for reciprocity, if this ain't it, it'll vote itself off my island, right? And I think that is so powerful. The one thing I also I like to say to people, because it was a thought that hit me a number of years ago. I'm like, oh my gosh, I think we all struggle with receiving, because it's this idea of even takers. That concept of taking, we think people who take have no problem with receiving, but they're not receiving, they're taking. There's a difference. And the reason they're taking is because they also have a bone dry well. Like they're like, it's like taking, being so depleted that they just have to do something to get air, right? They have to do something to put something in their well because it's so parched, because they themselves have not received. And so even if they're not on the surface looking like they're giving, and that they have a lot, there's a difference also too between eating something and actually being able to digest it. And that's the difference between having open hands where something's put in it and actually allowing yourself to receive it.
Yeah.
So it's in the receiving that we fill up our fuel tank, in our well. And if we get to the point where we have nothing to run on, we will start taking. We will find ways where we take just in order to get by. So I really believe that because of the, think about all of the well-known expressions. It's better to give than receive. It's all that stuff we've been taught and enculturated and indentured to in a lot of ways. Has kept us in this not receiving space. And so what we're talking about here is powerful. I mean, I hope a lot of people really, and I don't mean hear it, I mean really hear this. That it is hard, like you said. It is not easy because it goes against the grain of so much of what we've been taught for centuries.
And I feel like gender and privilege plays a role in that too. Wulwyn, how do you feel about that?
I would say I would agree that men, we're taught to conquer, right? You're taught to protect. So I'm talking from my perspective, right? You're taught to not cry, but not in my house. My mom and my dad were like, if you gotta cry, cry. So show your feelings. Don't hide it. There are some women, but what I would come back and go in the middle and say it happens in both genders. That and I would bring Sara up here. When I met Sara, she's going through an issue, And I told her, hey, sis, I'm going to go ahead and do this for you. And she was like, no, 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 don't. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I said, no, I'm going to do it for you. I said, I'm gifting it to you. And Sara had you should have seen her face, Traci. She was, I mean, this is 2020. When was this, Sara? 2021? 2020,
It was
2021.
I think it was 2020. No, because it was before pandemic, right?
It was before, correct. So
you and I met in 2019, and I know you and Sara met before we did. So
okay, so it's 18, maybe 18 time frame, and Sara is hyperventilating about receiving because she's always giving. So it goes. Sorry for putting you out here, Sara, but it goes both ways. You know that there are some people who all they had to do was give, plan, Sara. You, Traci, it's you going in and bringing things out. And if you're around lazy people, I would say, and when I talk about lazy people, emotionally lazy people who they just suck things out of you. They just suck. They drag. Hey, Susie, nice seeing you. We got a new person on here. Susie, thank you so much for coming every other Wednesday. It's just Traci and I, but today is Thanksgiving. So, hey, we brought in Sara.
yeah, for us to be thankful for, I guess, well, I mean, Sara's one of the reasons we know each other. So this is actually perfect. I mean, this is a perfect gratitude and give back. But also for those of you who don't know, Sara is an absolutely genius coach.
Oh my goodness.
Herself, and you know, works and Dare to Lead, but that is just like the tip of the iceberg of what she offers. You know, her own genius, not just what Brene Brown has dreamed up and put into reality, but I think, Sara, your own genius is in everything you do, and you really are working with teams to bring that human back into the engagements and the experiences, and you know, helping the humans understand themselves better, right, within groups, so that they can show up, you know, most valuably in that group. So I just really am grateful for the work you're doing out there, because it's important.
Thank you.
So even better, Sara, as you're about to get off here, because we got to do our dessert and our goodbyes. Tell us in 30 seconds who you are.
Oh my God.
Even though she did it, what
Traci said.
No, you got to come on. You give us dessert. Come on, give it to us, and then.
In 30 seconds, what I do is I create safe places for people to have hard conversations and heal toxic environments.
Less than 30. Sara, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
I love you both so much. Thank you for making this amazing Wednesday of being able to see your faces and talk and connect. I love y'all deeply. Thank you.
I love you too, Sara. Thank you. And I just want to say, because you chose to give yourself this time, you got to have this experience too. So nice job, girl.
Amen.
Love y'all. Bye.
Love you too.
Take
Bye-bye.
care, Sara. Oh my goodness.
That was fun.
It was. What, 4 more minutes? Traci, come on, give us dessert and wrap up.
Well, I mean, I'm just so grateful. I mean, Susie, we love it when new people find us and come on. We hope you know, do the, you know, push repeat and replay and listen to what you missed.
Subscribe
and come back. Because that's really, I mean, what we did today is really a perfect example of what we're cultivating here. You know, it takes a village, as we've heard so many times, but it's so true. Gratitude is something that we can't have in a vacuum. I mean, we can feel it in our hearts, but if we think about everything we're grateful for, it's always tied into other things and other people, right? So, you know, it's really kind of hard. Thank you. Happy USA Thanksgiving. Because there are Thanksgivings all over, as we're finding, which is really beautiful. We learned some cultural new things, but you know, I just am grateful for this platform. I'm grateful that you and I, Wulwyn, can talk between the miles and show up every other Wednesday to do this.
Yep.
And to the people who listen and the people who share this podcast with others, we really are hoping to make a difference in our little way. And so when we hear that it is, and people are hearing the exact thing at the exact time that they needed, I mean, that's something that I can always receive, because it just means that, that influence or that bit that we may be going through is shared by other people, and they feel less like it's just them in the world.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'll tell you, for those of you who don't know how to subscribe, just go to Facebook and like it, and go to YouTube and subscribe there. This is what I love calling this we love calling this our sandbox, where we don't have any scripts, we don't have anything planned in terms of, but just availing ourselves to come and speak. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, to others, to you who are, if you're, whatever you're going through in this season, where people say, oh, it happened in Christmas, it happened in New Year, it happened on my birthday. It's happening for a reason. And if you can move away from yourself and look at the bigger picture, that thing just might be a gift. So may you be blessed. It's 6 o'clock here in Monrovia, Liberia. It's 1:59. It's 11.
Well,
No.
12:59. Well, and can I say something really, really quickly? I want to change one little thing you said.
Go ahead.
Don't move out of yourself. Move into yourself. Move deeper into yourself, because it's easier to understand the true meaning of things. Don't extract yourself from the equation. The bigger picture comes from moving in, looking in, not removing yourself, right? And I feel like that's the integration of what's going on in your heart, in your soul, in your mind, and the larger perspective of what you could be learning, what you can be gaining, what you don't even know you don't know, that could end up creating something so much greater in your life, right? And I think that's that faith and trust. So go in, but then also surrender to the faith and trust.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.